good. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Patrina Taylor, and I'm with the wonderful and ultimate Juanita Wynn. And right now, today we're going to explore the inspiration of your song, your soon-to-be released single, "Let It Go." Now, let me ask you, what was the inspiration for your lyrics?
Well, actually, Key Jam had sent me the track about maybe a year prior to when I wrote to it, and I just couldn't think of what to, I write by feeling what I'm feeling, and I couldn't think of what I wanted to write to yet. It didn't come to me, and at the same time I was going through some tumultuous situations with my marriage, and I was like, I can't think. All I can do is write about, what I'm feeling and where I am, and being a gospel artist, that's kind of hard, But I went ahead and said, write about where you're at. And I wrote the first verse, and, it just flowed. The first verse just came to me like that,
Well, let me ask you, did the words seem to, by you being an artiste and a songwriter, including what you're going through as well, did the words come easy, or did it take you some time?
It took me some time, because I think while I was writing the first verse, I kind of broke down a few times because I was writing about my marriage. And it wasn't until I went, he requested that I leave. So I ended up in a shelter. And in the shelter, I wrote the second verse.
Wow.
That's why I said I lay awake at night wondering what went wrong. No one could have told me that I would be here, that we would be here without each other. It was so much emotion inside at that time, till I was like, I wanted my marriage, but I didn't want to get ugly. I didn't want to, because the police was telling me, you can kick the door down, you can go in, it's yours, but I didn't want it to get to that place. And I just hoped for a resolution. But the second verse came to me, and the bridge, everything else just flowed, because it was so real. So that's where I was at the time. So that was it.
Well, I'm here to tell you, I know there are a lot of women out there that are, I'm quite sure, experience a similar situation, or just the general breakup of a relationship.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that for those women who are not verbal, and that are holding it all in, your song is speaking to them, and it's speaking for them.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll allow your song to be their truth, so they can let it go.
Absolutely. Or either just saying, I don't want, or else on the other hand, when you don't want to let it go, just to say, you may not want to let it go, but sometimes, when things are out of your control, just sometimes, the Creator has a bigger plan behind it. And like I said, as being a gospel artist, it was hard for me to even just write to that and stay in that place. But, I do want it to be one of those songs that maybe speaks to the person who is forgetting about the beauty that you had together at one time. Because I wrote it hoping he would come listen. My girlfriend came over, Annette Mooborn, and her husband came over, and I said, listen to this, what I wrote. I let her hear the first verse, and she was like, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. And she went into the living room where my husband was, and she said, you got to come hear this song, come hear what she wrote. But he didn't want to listen to it. So, which of course, because of the way things were at the time, I understand. But I was hoping that he would, and he would see that I wanted it. But, I don't know. I guess we don't have control of everything, Some things you just don't see coming. And I didn't see them coming. But I wrote a song about it.
So I'm looking forward to see that come.
Yes.
All right, so let me ask you, how long have you been singing?
I've been singing since I was 5.
Oh, 5?
5 years old.
Anything inspired? Did you just naturally sing, or was it family members or hearing mom sing?
In the church.
Okay.
My father was a pastor.
Oh.
And I started singing, at a young age.
Pastor's daughter.
Yeah, I got 7 sisters and a brother. But the girls, we all sang. So,
wow.
Yeah, and I've been doing it ever since. My mother, she really took me under her wing and taught me, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Did you have a sister singing group like the Jackson Five?
The Wynn sisters. And ironically, they're really known in London, in the UK rather.
Wow.
Yeah.
International.
So I'm hoping we can do something together and, you know, just keep this flow going since, you know, they're feeling it.
Excellent. Now let me ask you, how do you think the gospel community would accept you singing R&B music?
You know, I agonized over that quite a bit because I think sometimes the gospel community isn't very forgiving once they've ever heard you sing R&B. I guess they feel like you just left Jesus completely. And I was afraid because I do believe in writing about love. I always felt like if I can sit and talk to you about the love I have for my husband, what's wrong with me putting a melody to it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And God is love, and he's given so many definitions of love. You've got agape love, you've got eros, you've got, I need to name them all. I mean, you've got the love for a friend, you've got the love for your family, you've got the love for humanity, the love for your love, you know, your spouse, or, you know, whoever you're in love with. And so I've got to just keep moving the way that I feel to move, because the main objective for me is to inspire people who are from all walks of life, who just need to hear something practical.
Right.
Just break it down for me right now. You don't have to quote a scripture. Just tell me, you know, maybe you can give me something to play for, you know, someone that I love. I remember listening to over and over again in the time when my husband and I were in separate rooms. I remember playing Gregory Porter and Layla Hathaway. There's a song they have, how did we ever lose our mind? You know, and fall apart. It's a beautiful song. It's called Insanity. Like, it's saying, how did we let this happen? How did we get here? But that helped me through that period, you know. There were some gospel songs I listened to too, but for the most part, I needed something practical. So I hope the gospel community will understand that they deal with the same issues that people who don't go to church or don't have any interest in going to church, we have the same problems.
Right on.
And we all want to speak. You know, when you're arguing with your spouse, you know, it's not very effective if you just start quoting scriptures. The Lord said that if you know, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. You got to break it down and say, I don't want to let it go. I want, you know, if we think it's over, why is it so hard for us to move on? You know, so it must be something there, you know. So I hope that they'll just accept it and realize that it's just a practical message, you know, to keep a relationship together, you know. So.
Well, I pray that those in the gospel community will have an open heart and open mind.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all sinners before we given our lives to Christ and accepting us as we were. However, when it comes to music, I'm a music lover. And music to me is food for the soul. Whether it's R&B music, whether it's gospel music, I love music because it puts a smile on my face. Especially when I listen to R&B songs, like the song Happy.
Yeah.
With Pharrell.
Inspirational.
Exactly. So regardless of the genre of music, I look for the meaning in the music, the words, something that's going to lift me and encourage me. So this song is beautiful.
Thank you.
I applaud you.
Thank you.
I am amazed.
I'm thankful to Kijam, Majik, and James Kola, because I mean they put, you know, we just worked well with the collaboration. You know, I couldn't have done it alone, but they mixed and did the track and everything to help bring it together. So, and for some reason, it's working.
Yeah, because when I listen to the lyrics, it amazes me how well the lyrics flow. Just like telling a story. But who would have imagined it took you time? Time here, time there, to put together or piece together those lyrics and and the meaning from your heart. It just flows so smoothly, like you would have just sat down and wrote it in one session.
Yeah, which I didn't. It took a couple of maybe a month for me to get all the lyrics together. About a month. Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you. I know that you're an international artist. You're internationally known, as well as here in the domestic U.S.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask, which artists here in the U.S. have you worked with? Can you give us some examples or throw some names?
Well, yeah, I've worked with and written for Destiny's Child, standing alongside with Beyonce. She taught me how to do the chicken head.
Oh, what?
We were playing while we was writing. Angie Stone, I toured with her for a while. That's my big sis.
Oh, I love you, Angie. I love you, girl.
Yes.
I got a little bit of your hair, but it's just a different color.
You got Angie. And also Diana Ross. I wrote for her. I did background on Lately Sing on, and he was there working with Tyrese. Man, I'm even the voice on Rain for SWV. I'm the whisper in there. Sprinkle me, shower.
Oh my God.
That's me on Rain. I worked with Virtue, Fred Hammond. Man, quite a few people. Shirley Murdoch, her gospel project.
Really?
There's a lot. There's many more.
Oh, a long list. I'm hearing.
And Layla Hathaway. I got a Grammy on the Layla Hathaway Live. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So, yeah. So I've been out there for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you threw out some names I didn't know. I knew I was familiar with a few, but not as many as you just mentioned.
And there's more, yeah. But
oh, my goodness.
We'll stop there.
Okay, we'll stop there. All righty. So let me ask, is there anything you would like to add that I may not have addressed or asked? Anything you want to share with the public as far as this song or any upcoming projects?
I think I would want to say, even concerning this song, to anyone who is in a relationship that may not be able to let go or forgive something, think twice. I'm not saying, because some situations you probably need to move on, but there's some so minute, simple things that sometimes we get so caught in the moment of the anger that we forget who and what we were before we got to that place. You know what I'm saying? And just fall in love all over again, get to know each other all over again, reintroduce yourself to one another. And it takes a change from both sides, Yes. God knows I would have loved for my marriage to work. But, for whatever reason, it just went south. And you just have to just keep going. And even though maybe you might feel like, I don't know what happened, what did I do? And maybe the person won't tell you exactly what it is, and you never find out. Somewhere in there, along the way, you have to still find peace within yourself and say, you know what, I still have to live. I still have to move on, even though it's hard. Just know one foot in front of the other, you can survive it. You can survive it.
All right. Well, thank you. Well, Juanita Wynn, it's been an extreme pleasure.
Thank you.
It's been an extreme pleasure.
Thank you.
So here I'm signing off with Patrina Taylor. And again, the lovely, beautiful, humble spirit, kindest person you'll ever want to meet, who has a willingness to serve people, Miss Juanita Wynn.
Thank you.
No, thank you. You're precious.